So I've been trying to play with what you call the unusual turnaround a lot. And is there is there like I looked at your sample, and when it's similar to your sample, I can find it. But is there like a process, or like something that will show me how to use it better? Because it's more like something I could have done or should have done or should have seen, or what did I leave out that caused the problem?
Hmm.
And that's how I'm reading it.
Yeah, the what I call unusual turnaround is not something that I find with every statement. I would say it's unusual, like it's rare. Um,
Yeah.
and it tends to be with certain actions that have a forwards and a backwards, right? That have a like he's moving for my example that always comes to mind is you're sitting at a stoplight driving a car and suddenly you feel like you're moving backwards, like what is my foot on the brake, hold on, because you feel like you're moving backwards, but in reality the car next to you is just moving forwards. So relatively speaking, like relative to that car, I'm moving backwards, and that's what the mind thinks. But in reality, I'm standing, and other car is moving forwards. So the relative, I don't have a good example right off the tip of my head for that unusual turnaround, but um, it's going to be something like that. Let's use the car example. So this original statement is, oh my God, I'm moving backwards. Stressful thought, I'm moving backwards. I better step on the brake, right? How do I react? I step on the brake. So, um, so who would I be without the thought I'm moving backwards? I would be less worried. I would be more open-minded. I would be checking out, is there something else going on? I'd be more calm. Turn around. Uh, I'm moving backwards. I'm not moving backwards. That's a normal turnaround, right? The unusual turnaround is he is moving forwards. It's not a turnaround to the other exactly. It's it's an unusual turnaround. I've turned around. He I've, so I am moving backwards. I've turned around I to he, and I've turned around backwards to forwards. I've changed two things in that sentence, which is usually going to create a spin, but it doesn't create a spin because of this nature of the two cars. So I'm moving backwards
Okay.
makes it makes it as like the turnaround is he's moving forwards, and it works as a turnaround. But that doesn't always work with all sentences. It doesn't
I
always
can
make
see.
sense with all
So
sentences.
so if the turnaround to the other or the turnaround to the opposite, if if I look at that, then I would see whether or not it was an unusual turnaround.
That's it. You're
Like
you're just
a
exploring.
step misunderstood, or a step misplaced, or something that could have gotten.
Right. So I
Yeah,
mean, like the
okay.
turnaround to
Let's
the other would
play with
be
that.
he's moving backwards, but it doesn't quite make sense, right? Because that's not
Mhm.
it doesn't quite make sense in this situation. So it makes you think, is there an unusual turnaround here? Maybe something else. Let's try he is
Yeah.
moving forward and breaking all the rules of only one change one thing in a sentence to find the turnaround. Lo and behold, I changed two things and it worked. And so that's what I call the unusual turnaround.
Yeah. So the criteria would be, am I in his business versus still mine? My perspective is my business. Am I in his business, or would be like, then that's not going to work.
Yeah, I think I
Because it
don't
would
get
be
too
he
worried
should have.
about being in. Yeah, I don't worry too much about being in someone's business when I'm finding a turnaround because I'm already in their business. What I'm going when I go back in to turn something around is now I'm going to go back into their business and turn it around and get it straightened out, you know. But
Yeah.
what I'm looking for,
I'm
you
gonna
could almost
just
call
keep.
this turnaround the relative turnaround. Like there's something relative to something else, and um, right, like he is. Um, I'm trying to think. Yeah, he is not listening to me. Okay. So the opposite of he is not listening to me would be I'm not listening to me. Let's turn around to the self. I'm not listening to him. Let's turn around to the other. He is listening to me. Let's turn around to the opposite. But there's another turnaround in there. And this is the unusual one is I I'm not speaking well enough to him. So he may be trying to listen, but he can't hear because I'm not speaking clearly. And so this brings the responsibility back to me, which is what I think you were saying, like bringing it back to
Yeah.
what's my business. But it's a fourth thing. It's not the normal three turnarounds. It's something unusual. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad because there are times when I just can't find it, and it's good to know that it's not always there. But
Yeah.
I'm
It's not always,
conscious of it not turning it into, fault on his part,
yeah.
kind of
I look
thing. Yeah.
for
Okay.
words that have an equal and opposite action. So, speaking and listening, they have an equal and opposite action. Or going forward or going in reverse. Those are equal and opposite actions. That's when I can start playing with this unusual turnaround. If that equal opposite
Yeah.
action is not there, it doesn't really make sense to try that turnaround.
Thanks. Then I don't feel so bad that sometimes I can't find
Yeah, it
it.
might be a large percentage of the time. I only come across
Oh,
it once in a
okay.
blue moon.
When I have used it, it really helps me own my part in what happened. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Thank you.
idea. Any turnaround that helps you own your part in things, that helps you feel like you're not a victim, then that's going to be a helpful turnaround. And anything else that doesn't, then just leave it. Don't have to go there. Like where we started with Marika, you don't have to, even the original statement turned around to the opposite. If it doesn't make sense, maybe the statement's just true. Okay. Just because I question something doesn't mean it's not doesn't mean that it's automatically not true. Just because I question something doesn't mean it's not true. Could be true. Great. All I want to know is what is the truth. This is what doing science is about. This is what exploring is about. You test something, and hopefully, with an unbiased attitude, you'll find out this is works, this doesn't work, this makes sense. This you find the laws of nature there, and that's all we're doing in the work. We're finding out what is true, what is not true. We're not trying to force everything to be not true. That's not it. We're looking. That's all.